Hey, what's up? It's Joshua. I hope you're doing well. So in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how you can start investing in ETFs step by step, starting right now. So before I get into the content of the video, I wanted to first sort of outline what you can expect to get from this video. So in the first part, I'm just gonna briefly discuss what an ETF is and why you should invest in them, especially as a beginner. The second part will be me discussing which ETFs I think you should invest in as a beginner. And the third part of the video is me showing you how to actually purchase your first ETF with your brokerage account, okay? So let's get started. Okay, so what is an ETF and why should you invest in it? I go into detail about this exact topic in a different video. I'll leave a link to that video in the description or in the card above. An ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund. On a very basic level, it's just a fund that trades on the stock market. An easy way to think of an ETF is as a mutual fund or like an index fund that you can buy and sell on the stock market, similar to stocks. ETFs are really good to add to your portfolio, not only as a beginner investor, but also just as an experienced investor, because they give your portfolio instant diversification without you having to do any legwork. When I say diversification, that's basically just a fancy word for not putting all of your eggs in one basket. Imagine a farmer walked outside one day to collect some eggs and he brought his basket with him. He put all the eggs in the basket, but on the way back to the house, he dropped the basket of eggs. And guess what? They all broke. Now imagine for a second that he brought 3 baskets with him instead of just 1. Well, if he drops one of the baskets, then that's fine because that's not all the eggs. He has the other 2 baskets which still have eggs in them. Your goal with diversification should be to balance out your portfolio in such a way that when one part of the market is down, such as the tech sector, your entire portfolio doesn't have to take a hit because of that, because you've got other investments in other sectors or other markets in general that are not down but are perhaps up. And so, it helps to kind of balance each other out. Okay, so that segues nicely into the next part of the video. And don't worry, we'll get to buying the actual ETFs in just a second here. I think it's important to discuss this stuff first, especially if you're a beginner. So what types of ETFs should you buy? It's easy to get overwhelmed because there are literally over 7,000 ETFs trading on the stock market. That's a lot of different ETFs to choose from. So which one do you choose? What's gonna give you the highest return, right? What's gonna give your portfolio the most diversification, which reduces your risk? And there's a really good resource actually called the ETF database. And the website is etfdb.com. When you go to the website, you'll see a ton of different options, right? At the bottom, you've got like your popular ETFs, which show you all the different popular ETFs. That may be a good place to start, but what I would recommend is just going to where it says ETFs by type, and then from there you can sort of further filter down what exactly you're looking for. So for example, let's say that you wanted to invest in a specific sector, and that sector was, I don't know, materials, right? You would just click on materials, and then it gives you a big list of the top performing ETFs in the materials sector. Or maybe you wanted to invest in a specific asset class. Let's say you wanted to add some bonds to your portfolio without actually having to go to the bond market. And so you can just purchase a bond ETF. And if you click on that, you'll see all the different bond ETFs. And so that is a really good resource that you can use to find specific ETFs and really sort of break down and filter down what you're looking for based off of your specific needs. Now, with all that being said, what would I recommend that you invest in, especially if you're a beginner? But even if you're not a beginner, if you've been investing for 10 years and you're just now getting into ETFs, what should you invest in? I would recommend that you add to your portfolio some type of S&P 500 ETF. Now, there are a ton of them out there. There's probably hundreds of S&P 500 ETFs. Now, without getting into too much detail about what the S&P 500 is, it's basically just a stock market index that makes up roughly 500 of the largest publicly traded companies in America. And so the 2 that I would recommend are the SPDR S&P 500 ETF. You may have seen it before. It's the ticker, the symbol is just SPY. The one that I use, and it's what I would recommend to you as well, is Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF, and the ticker, the symbol on that is VOO. And really the only reason that I would recommend VOO over the SPY is because Vanguard's ETF, VOO, is just cheaper to own, right? When you purchase shares of these ETFs, they also come with what's called an expense ratio. And that is basically just fancy language for how much it costs you every single year to own this ETF. Okay, now the last part of this video, the part that you've probably been waiting for, is how to actually start investing in ETFs. I'm gonna explain that to you right now. Now, if you have a brokerage account already, the only thing you have to do is just type in the symbol the same way you would a stock. So for example, if you wanted to invest in the SPDR S&P 500 ETF, you would just go into your trade window and you would just type in SPY, the same way you'd buy a share of Tesla by typing in TSLA. It's the same thing, and you would choose how many shares you wanted. Okay, so for those of you who have never invested before and you don't have a brokerage account, that's fine. I'm gonna walk you through step by step exactly how to do that right now. So the brokerage account that I would recommend, it's what I use for a couple of my investment accounts, and it's what I would recommend most beginners use, is M1 Finance. It's completely free to use. It doesn't cost you a thing. I've got a link to it in the description if you just want to click on that to go there really easily. Otherwise, just type in M1 Finance into the App Store or the Google Play Store. It doesn't matter how you do it. You just need to download the app or go to the website, create an account, and open up a brokerage account. But I'm going to walk you through how to do that really quickly, and then we will buy your first ETF right here on this video. I'll show you exactly how to do it, okay? So let's get started. Okay, so when you first download the app, you should land on a page that looks a little something like this. Now, I'm on iOS, I have an iPhone, so this may look a little bit different if you're on Android. Generally speaking, you should be on some type of login page where you have the option to sign up or log in. Since you don't have a brokerage account with M1, you're gonna click on sign up. From here, you'll enter your email and your password. After you've entered an email and password, you'll appear on this screen. It says, welcome to M1. We'll get you started in 3 easy steps. Also remember to verify your email if you haven't already. I'm not going to just because this is actually a fake account, but you should do it because this is gonna be your real account. So what we'll do is just hit continue. And this is a pie, is what M1 is explaining to us. Basically, the way M1 works is instead of using the word portfolio, they just use the word pie. It just makes it a little bit less intimidating and just a little more user-friendly. So they call portfolios pies. Don't let that confuse you. So this is where we start to build our pie. And from here, if you want to, you can go ahead and just really select whatever you want, because we're actually going to, after we create this pie, just delete it later on anyways. So I'm just gonna select these 3 popular funds. You have to select at least 3 to move past this screen here. So select 3, that's fine. Like I said, we'll just end up deleting this anyways, and so we'll just hit continue. All right, so the pie is created, and it kind of gives you a graph here. It shows you what your growth potential looks like with an initial investment of 10,000, which, by the way, there are no requirements. There are no minimum investment requirements, so just keep that in mind. Also, this app is 100% free, so it gives you this screen right here. It says you'll use pies like this to create a custom investment portfolio, which is exactly what we'll be doing in just a moment here, okay? We'll hit continue. From this point, you'll have to verify your identity. I already have an account with M1, and so I'll log into that account to show you how to actually invest in ETFs. All right, so now that we're logged into my M1 Finance account, I can show you how to actually begin purchasing your ETFs. Now, this is kind of what it looks like once you get your account set up. You can go into individual pies and sort of see what's in them. I happen to be using a feature within M1 Finance called Expert Pies. It's completely free to use, but I am using a pie called Hedge Fund Followers. And the specific hedge fund that I am choosing to follow is Coatue Management, which, as you can see, is a very tech-heavy hedge fund. They invest in a lot of different tech stocks within the tech sector. In any case, let's purchase an ETF, shall we? So when you log into your account, it should look a little something like this. The first thing you'll do is click down here on Manage Pie. You'll get this list of options here, and a lot of these you'll end up using in the future, but for now we're just gonna focus on buying our first ETF. So click on the last option that says Edit Pie. What you want to do is just click the plus button right here. And now you can see that we have an option to look through stocks, hundreds and hundreds of stocks. I mean, we can just keep scrolling here, and eventually we would be scrolling through thousands of stocks. And you can also search stocks. You can search funds, right? This is what we were talking about. You can see right there, VOO. That's the one that I was recommending to you. And there's also SPY right there. Here's the expert pies that I was talking about earlier. You can choose to invest in various pies, general investing, plan for retirement, income earners, right? If you wanted to invest in stocks that were that paid dividends, right? You can add that to your portfolio, and M1 will automatically purchase shares of companies, of stocks that pay dividends, and they've got specific pies here, pre-built pies that you can use. So here's the hedge fund followers. You can see Berkshire Hathaway right there, Coatue Management. But we're just focusing on ETFs right now, right? And you'll find all the ETFs under the tab that says fund. For the one that I would recommend, it's right here, it's VOO. And so what you would do is you would just select that one, and it'll pop up, and down here you'll have some news, you'll have some price history if you want to check that out, and some other various tabs here. But all you're gonna do is click add to pie. Once that's done, just click on the X up top, on the top left up here, and then you'll see you have a check mark next to that ETF. Then just hit on done up here on the top right hand corner of your screen. And from this point, now for you, it's gonna look a little different, okay? For you, this number will be technically 0%, all right? I know it's a little confusing because I already have a pie right here, but for you, you're not gonna have any pies. So this number on this ETF, the percentage will be 100%, okay? Now, of course, this is up to you to decide how you wanna change it later once you get more comfortable with the app. Okay, so I hope that sort of makes sense. Now, what you would do at this point is just click on save. And then when you click on save, you'll appear on this confirmation screen right here, and it shows you your investment account name. And then it says, are you sure you want to make changes in your portfolio? When you hit confirm, the changes will not immediately be activated, but the next trading day, M1 will make the changes for you. They'll buy those investments for you automatically, so you don't have to worry about doing that yourself. And so that's another reason why I love M1 Finance. Now, I should mention that M1 Finance is not an app if you're looking to actively trade, like day trade on the market, okay? Because it's really just for long-term investors, people who are looking to buy and hold for long periods of time, and it's not really for day trading. If you wanted to day trade, I might recommend to use Webull or TD Ameritrade or something like that. But in any case, this is how you use M1 Finance. That's how you purchase your first ETF using M1 Finance. That's it, you're done. You've officially invested in your first ETF, and it probably wasn't as hard as you made it seem in your mind. Hey, listen, if you got some value from this video, if you learned something, do me a huge favor, hit the like button on the video. It helps me out a ton. Also, if you haven't subscribed already to my channel, please do so. I would love to see you back on this channel, on these videos in the future, engaging with me and just being a part of this community. Also, remember to turn on the bell notifications so that you can be notified whenever I do post. And if you're still watching after all that, I just want to tell you that you're awesome, and I will see you again soon. Take care.